After being an Amazon seller for 10 plus years and having great standing, I got my first inauthentic claim and it's causing me all kinds of problems. My name is Justin. This is the Winds of Change channel. Thank you for stopping by. Now, we're going to talk about what I did wrong and what I'm going to do going forward, and then, some sort of things to protect you from this happening as the video goes on. But first, we're just going to talk about how crappy it has been. I have had to reapply for so many brands. I've had to submit documents for some brands. I've had to get ungated in brands that I currently have active inventory in, but they won't let me send replenishments in, right? They won't let me send more in without providing documents. When I turn in documents, it's taking them 1, 2, 3 weeks to get back. It used to be instant, right? So there's been a lot of things that it has been complicating here for my resale business. And we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that. But those are just some of the reasons that I wanted to make this video to let you know that those kind of things can happen to you, right? Doesn't matter if you've been selling on Amazon for 10, 15 years. I sent my first FBA shipment in November of 2012. This is my first offense with inauthentic claims, so nobody is exempt, right? Now, the good news is they did not suspend my account. I know you hear all kinds of horror stories about that. That is not what happened to me, but it has been super frustrating nonetheless. I think maybe there's a misconception about selling inauthentic goods. The problem is the goods that you sell don't necessarily have to be inauthentic for you to get the inauthentic claim. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm not advocating anybody sell anything counterfeit. 100% not what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is this. Even if you sell something not counterfeit, all the customer has to do is claim that it was counterfeit. Now, they don't have to prove that it is. You have to prove that it's not. As the seller, you are 1,000,000% responsible for proving that what you had was not counterfeit. Now, I was lucky enough, I say lucky, I mean, I didn't really do anything, but the person who said that was counterfeit actually did give me some feedback, and they let me know, hey, this is why I thought it was counterfeit. They were pretty upset, which, I mean, I get it, it was a $100 DVD, so they were saying, like, this little spot should be here, and there should be this, and the band should be this way, and the leaflet should be this way, and there should be all kinds of little tiny things I would have never, ever, ever thought to look for. So, they did let me know why they thought that, but it doesn't really amount to anything because in the end, I'm the one that needs to prove that it was not counterfeit. So when this happens, what does Amazon want? Well, let's take a look at how all of this could have just gone away. So if this happens to you, this is what you'll need to prove that it is an authentic item of whatever it is that you're selling. They're going to ask you, straight down the middle. They're not going to have any wishy-washy areas. This is what they want. They want to document prior to the incident. So if you got your incident September 15th, they're going to want something before that date of whatever year that it is. Include your name and address. Has to have the name and address of the manufacturer. And this is all stuff that like you need to get ungated in a brand as well, right? Show the combined purchase of at least 10 units. Omit pricing. And then they just say that they could check up with the vendor to make sure that you're the one that actually bought it, etc. I don't have any of this. I didn't even buy 10 items. By the way, this was an eBay to Amazon flip, so I'm definitely rethinking that. But I didn't have 10 units. I didn't have any invoices. And before everybody gets all huffy and they're like, oh, of course, that's why, because you got it from eBay or whatever. Here's the thing. If you are doing retail arbitrage, going to stores, buying something, reselling it, or you're doing online arbitrage, buying online, reselling it, this is an inherent risk that you run. If you are not buying from a distributor, buying from a manufacturer, buying from a wholesaler with legitimate invoices of over 10 items, then you're in this boat. Now, people could say, hey, I've got inauthentic claims removed with store receipts. Okay, maybe, but that's not what they're asking for. I feel like you probably just got lucky. Well, some people will say, hey, invoices from like online purchases will work, and maybe that's true because I've used that to get ungated. But what if you only buy 3 of that item, right? There's the problem. If unless you bought over 10 and it's been prior to the report, then you're hosed. Okay? So just understand that that is a risk that happens. Also understand that I've been doing this for over 10 years and this is the first time that it's happened. So that doesn't mean you have a long time before it happens. It just means that it's not going to happen all the time. At least in my experience and from the experience of people I know who've been selling for a while and do a lot of volume. How is this affecting me? Well, I didn't get suspended, like I said. My account wasn't shut down or anything like that. As a matter of fact, when I look at the report under performance, it literally says this will not affect your seller rating, and my score is still pretty high. But there are some things in the back end that I think that they're not quite telling me the truth on. I even called customer service and I said, hey, I don't have these documents. What's going to happen? What should I be doing? And we'll talk about that here in a minute. But I just want to first talk about the difficulties that I've been going through. So, like I said, I've been on Amazon for a long time now. I've got a lot of things ungated, and I've put a lot of work into getting approved to sell certain brands. Well, recently, according to customer service, not because of the inauthentic claim, I've had to get ungated in so many brands. Okay, this is when I noticed it, and this was frustrating. So, say I have a brand, right? It is at the warehouse. It's at the warehouse in FBA, currently active. You can currently go in there to my store, buy it. I'm trying to send in more of the same item, and they're blocking me, saying I need to provide documentation saying that this is legit from that brand. The reason why this is baffling to me is I've had listings removed before, but they remove everything. They don't let you keep selling what you have. They shut everything down, and then you have to reapply. This is different because they're letting me continue to sell my stock, my inventory, but I have to get approved to send in more. Never heard of anything like it. That's what's going on. As I started going on throughout the next few days, literally almost everything that I've scanned wanted me to get approved. I mean, I'm talking 30, 40, 50 brands now that I had to apply for. Let's take a look. These are some of the selling applications that I've had to do in the past few days. Now, most of these are approved. I just have these on the approval ones. The only one that has not been approved that I'm trying to has been taking a little while. We'll talk about that in a second. But look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, we could just keep going down, right? I mean, look at this. All into September. There's so many items that I'm having to get approval for. Let's keep going here. Look how many there are. All these. July. There wasn't too many in July because this wasn't going on, or it's stuff that I hadn't sold before. But September, since this happened, this has been really, really crazy going on. Just so many brands that I need to get approved for. So that's another thing that happened. They say it's not related, but I've never experienced anything like it. Being regated in brands happens sometimes, but this is a lot. Another thing is that it is taking a lot longer to get approved with documentation. Used to be I could get an invoice from somewhere, send it with some pictures, and then within a few hours or at least a day, they would get back to me and approve me. And in my mind, I thought, oh, well, that's because I've always been legit and they must trust the account. I'm starting to think maybe that's not the reason, or maybe that was the reason, but this inauthentic claim that doesn't affect the account has something to do with it, because now it took me 5 days to get approval for something, and then I've been going on 2 weeks to get approval for this other brand that I've been trying to. So it's been super, super frustrating, super inconvenient. Now, like I said, most of these I'm able to auto ungate, or I just have to go watch that little video, answer the questions, say I'm not going to sell anything counterfeit, and then I'm able to sell it, which is good. But there are some things that have been staples of mine that now all of a sudden I have to get documentation for, and with it taking 2 to 3 weeks, it's super inconvenient. Okay, what went wrong? Well, looking back, the only thing I can sort of think of is that this was an eBay to Amazon flip. Now, there are people out there making good money with eBay to Amazon flips, and I've also sold quite a bit of things from eBay to Amazon. And I'll say without issue, but there's honestly been some issues. I bought like 25 of these DVDs, and like half of them got returned, said that they didn't work. I think I lucked out on that one. They would play on older players, but not on like newer players. And then the seller from eBay actually refunded me the money, but Amazon had still dinged my account a little bit just from like voice of the customer things, saying that it wasn't a good product. But there's a lot of things that I've sold that were fine. So I think maybe that's the first issue. I'm not telling anybody to not do eBay to Amazon flips, but I'm saying I never had an authentic claim until like I started doing eBay to Amazon flips, which was about 6 months ago. So for me, I wasn't having a lot of time to put into it anyway, so I just sort of stopped that altogether for now. And I think the next thing was that the item that I was selling was an Amazon exclusive, right? So it was the DVD and it had brackets Amazon exclusive. Now I can't say that that was exactly what it was because Amazon wasn't on it, and there were like 13 other sellers on it. So I figured it'd be good to sell. There was nothing in the keeper graph that was weird, but maybe that Amazon exclusive part is something somebody was looking for something very specific. Maybe it had a specific thing that the other non-Amazon exclusive didn't have or something like that. I'm not too sure, but I think the only thing I can think of are those are the two things where it went wrong. Another thing is, you could say that this went wrong. I didn't have the proper documentation, but that just inherently comes, like I said, from doing retail arbitrage, flipping, and stuff like that. So I think those are the things that I really missed the mark on here that I'm going to stay away from in the future. The plan going forward is just like I said, I'm going to stay away from eBay and Amazon flips for a little while. There's nothing I can do at this point. I cannot prove that it was authentic. I do have about $300 more of inventory going in to that specific ASIN. It's been inbound for like 2.5 weeks now, but I want to try to get those back if I can, and then possibly get a refund from the eBay seller. Without having the documentations, the only thing I can do is wait 180 days. That thing will fall off of the account, and it'll be good as new. So I got to wait about 6 months, and then it's going to go away sort of on its own. I'm going to be more careful when sourcing. I'm not going to go to Amazon exclusives, and I'm just going to keep being honest with the products that I get. All we can do is the best that we can. I would never intentionally sell something that was inauthentic, but at the end of the day, nobody cares if you intended to do it or not. It still happened, right? So I'm owning it. I could have vetted it better. I could have sourced a little bit better. And those are all things that I'm going to look at, like for myself and my business, because at the end of the day, it could not even be counterfeit. This could have been a legitimate item, but I can't, with what I was currently sourcing, prove that it was not. And that's still going to be a risk going forward because I love retail arbitrage, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. So just be aware that that's a risk that goes with that. But you don't hear about it too often. You hear all kinds of horror stories. I'm letting you know mine. It hasn't necessarily been a nightmare. It's been frustrating. Thank goodness I didn't lose my account. They're not talking about shutting my account down or anything like that. Everything's good. I just have to take this ding, get ungated in a lot of stuff, and deal with those minor frustrations. So thankfully that's all that it was. But just letting you know that if it does happen to you, it may not be the end of the world, and sort of what to expect. And your experience might be different than mine. One thing I've learned about Amazon is that they do not do the same thing all the time, and you'll never figure them out, right? So don't be discouraged. Just know that this stuff can happen. You can get through it. You can survive from it, and you can keep on making money using this platform, which has been amazing for me and my family for, like I said, the past over 10 years. It's been a good journey. It's been fun. Still is fun. I still love growing and talking about it. So I'm going to keep doing it. If you got any questions or anything like that, leave them in the comments down below. Not sure I can answer everything, but I'll answer what I can. Thanks for stopping by. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll catch you all later.